students, how are you all? This is our biology class session 4. In this we are going to see respiration in plants. This is our chapter 7. So here we are going to see this lesson in two parts, part 1 and part 2. First I'll upload part 1. Now let's get into the lesson. In this lesson we are going to cover the introduction, respiration versus burning, two kinds of respiration, experiments on respiration in plants, respiration comparison, that is how the comparison of respiration made with animals and plants. So these are the topics we are going to cover in this lesson. Introduction. So first, what is respiration? It is a process of releasing energy from simple sugar glucose for carrying out life processes. So like other organisms, plants also requires energy for their cellular activities. So like other organisms, plants also going to respire. So the respiration which is taken in plants is helpful for producing the energy for their cellular, that is life activity. So this we are going to see very detailedly here in this chapter. So all living cells in plants as well as those in animals require energy for various body activities. Examples: absorbing minerals from the soil, building up proteins from amino acids, laying down of cell walls, etc. So energy, how this energy can be made? Energy is made available by the breakdown of glucose molecule, a simple carbohydrate. Glucose is a simple carbohydrate. By breaking down of this glucose, energy is made. So here the overall reaction is given in a chemical equation. Glucose C6H12O6 plus oxygen O2 combines together, and this results in the formation of, or it gives out, the carbon dioxide plus water plus ATP molecule. Here ATP molecule is the energy molecule. ATP, adenosine triphosphate. ATP is the energy molecule as a result of this combination of glucose plus oxygen, which is broken down or oxidated completely, and it's going to synthesize the energy in the form of ATP molecule. This is what the overall reaction of cellular respiration that occurs in plants. Next, the important characteristics of respiration. Okay, here three important characteristics we have. So breakdown of glucose, as I said in the introduction, energy is made available by breaking down of glucose. So in the breaking down of glucose, it's going to take place in two major phases. Okay, and this breaking down of glucose, this chemical reaction is not a single step, it is a series of steps. This series of steps is taken place in two major phases. One is glycolysis, another one is Krebs cycle. In glycolysis, the glucose molecule, that is a simple carbohydrate, is converted to pyruvate. So this reaction, this glucose to the conversion of pyruvate, is going to occur in the cytoplasm. After the conversion of pyruvate, the next step is going to take place in a organelle called mitochondria. That cycle is Krebs cycle. Here the pyruvate molecule is again converted to carbon dioxide plus water plus ATP molecule. So these are the two major phases involved in the breaking down of glucose in synthesizing the energy. Glycolysis, Krebs cycle. Glycolysis, it's a conversion of glucose to pyruvate which takes place in the cytoplasm. Krebs cycle, it is conversion of pyruvate to carbon dioxide plus water plus energy synthesizing. This process occurs in mitochondria. Okay, so this is the first characteristic of this chemical reaction. The next is each breakdown of this glucose, each breakdown step that occurs in this glucose is done with the help of enzyme. A particular enzyme is involved in breaking down of glucose molecule in each and every step. This is the second point. The third one is the energy liberated in the breakdown of the glucose molecule is not all in the form of heat. Not all the energy is released in the form of heat, but a large part is converted to a chemical energy in the form of ATP molecule, that is adenosine triphosphate. This is the third characteristics in the respiration process that takes place in plants. So now clear with these three important characteristics, children. Shall we go to the next? And when the energy in the form of ATP is used, the ATP is converted to ADP molecule. Okay, so when the energy in the form of ATP is utilized by the plants, this adenosine triphosphate is converted to adenosine diphosphate, that is ATP to ADP. And when more energy is available by further breakdown of glucose, what happens? This ADP is again reconverted to ATP molecule. So 1 mole of glucose on complete oxidation, 1 mole of glucose on complete oxidation, it's going to synthesize 38 ATP molecule. So this is what the complete oxidation process. When 1 mole of glucose is going to undergo the complete oxidation process, that is breakdown of glucose happens, it's going to synthesize 38 ATP molecule. So this is the on the whole process of respiration steps involved in the plants. So now clear, children? Next is, so we very well know all the living organisms as its own metabolic activities. So the metabolic activities in living organisms can be two types. One is anabolic, another one is catabolic. Anabolic, it is a constructive or a biosynthetic process which is going to consume the energy. Catabolic activity, which is going to destructive or breaking down process, which is going to synthesize the energy. So very simple, you can understand anabolic, which is going to consume the energy, catabolic, which is going to synthesize the energy. So in all the living organism, the metabolic activities is carried out by these two processes, anabolic and catabolic. Next is respiration versus burning. Burning is also called as combustion process. So here respiration occurs in series of chemical steps, but burning, it is a single step. And respiration is carried out by enzymes, burning is carried out by heat. Respiration, it is a biochemical process, burning, it's a physico-chemical process. So during respiration, energy is liberated as ATP and some heat is liberated. In burning, only heat and light is liberated. Respiration, it is a cellular process. Burning, it is a non-cellular process. Respiration occurs at body temperature. Burning, it occurs at high ignition point. So these are the major difference between the respiration and burning. Next, entire plant respires. So every part of a plant, such as leaves, stem, roots, and even the deepest placed cell which is present in the plant, undergoes the respiration process. So oxygen is obtained from the atmosphere through the 3 inlets which is present in the plant. The 3 inlets are stomata, the tiny pore which is present in the leaves, lenticles in stem, and general surface of roots. So how these roots are going to get the oxygen? So while ploughing or tilling, what happens? The soil creates a tiny air space around soil particles and provide the source of oxygen for the roots. And during daytime, due to the photosynthesis, the leaves produce oxygen, some of which is used in respiration and the rest is diffused out. So the carbon dioxide produced during the respiration is utilized by the leaves, which is going to serve as a raw material for the photosynthesis process. So during the respiration process, carbon dioxide is released from the plants. So that carbon dioxide is utilized as a raw material for synthesizing the food material, okay, during the photosynthesis process. So here we have a question: why we should not sleep under the tree at night? So at night what happens? The leaves obtain oxygen from the atmosphere and give out carbon dioxide, and hence there is a belief that one should not sleep under a tree. The carbon dioxide released by trees during the respiration at night is too little to cause any harm, but the major causes are the droppings of birds, the night active insects, spiders, snakes, etc. are the real dangers. So this is what the answer for this question: why we should not sleep under the tree at night. And there is an advantage here, that is sleeping under a tree during hot midday. Okay, sleeping under the tree during the hot midday is definitely good. Why? Because both oxygen due to photosynthesis and coolness due to respiration, that is, one gets the oxygen and also the coolness. Oxygen due to the photosynthesis process and coolness due to the transpiration process. So it is very good to sleep under the tree during the midday. Okay, next is two kinds of respiration. So if you take, the respiration can be done in two ways, that is aerobic respiration, another one is anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration, it's also called as oxybiotic. This itself says that this respiration, it happens only with the presence of oxygen. The glucose molecule combines with the oxygen, which is going to release the carbon dioxide plus water and the energy in the form of ATP molecule. So since it is a complete oxidation, 38 ATP molecule is released. Again, I have given here the chemical formula for that. Respiration proceeds only when the oxygen, so it is called as oxybiotic. Aerobic respiration is also called as oxybiotic respiration. Anaerobic respiration, it is also called as anoxybiotic respiration. Here it clearly says this respiration going to takes place in the absence of oxygen. The respiration proceeds without using the oxygen. So glucose with some enzymes, it is going to release ethanol plus carbon dioxide plus ATP molecule, that is 2 ATP molecule. It is a incomplete oxidation process. So in plants it is not a permanent respiration, only it's a temporary respiration, takes place for few minutes or few days, and afterwards that cell will get die, and the complete oxidation, the permanent respiration in plants is always aerobic respiration. So here ethanol is released as a byproduct, and ATP molecule is synthesized in very less amount because it is an incomplete oxidation. And in plants it is not permanent, but in some algae and fungi they undergoes complete anaerobic respiration. So some of the bacteria, algae and fungi can respire throughout the life without the oxygen. Okay, so this is what the anaerobic respiration, it is also called as anoxybiotic respiration, because it can proceed without the presence of oxygen. And the aerobic respiration is a complete oxidation, anaerobic it is a incomplete oxidation, and end products of aerobic respiration are carbon dioxide plus water, and here the end products are ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. So since aerobic respiration, it's a complete oxidation, it is going to synthesize 38 ATP molecule. Anaerobic respiration, it is an incomplete oxidation which is going to synthesize 2 ATP molecule. So with this, we'll stop here. And children, please try to complete the progress check questions given in your book. Please, once the video is over, you go through the book thoroughly and try to finish it. The part 2 will be continued in the next class, next session. Thank you. Have a nice day. Stay safe always. Thank you.